Okay, so today we're going to compare the SpaceX Starship serial number 8, serial number 9, and serial number 10 flights. So in your upper left you see the serial number 8, which launched in December of 2020. In the upper right you see serial number 9, which launched in February of 2021. And in the lower left we see serial number 10, which launched just a couple of days ago as I'm making this, March 3rd of 2021. These are all Starship prototypes in Boca Chica, Texas. They're launching from Boca Chica, Texas, and so they are methane powered and oxygen powered, so methalox. It's cryogenic methalox, and so we're going to make these labels a little bit smaller so that they don't get in the way of what we're seeing, but we're at about T-minus 30 seconds here. I have aligned the launch T0 times so we can kind of compare the layout of all these launches. Serial number 8 and serial number 9 were crash landings. Serial number 10 actually landed on the ground and exploded about 8 minutes later. So here we go at about 5 seconds, and we're going to launch. You'll see all the engines light up and take off at T0. So they all are coming under 3 Raptor power and lifting off the launch pad there in Boca Chica. So you can see very clearly the 3 Raptor engines, very clearly on serial number 10 here with a very close-up shot of the 3 Raptor engines going. They all follow a pretty close flight profile, but as it turns out, serial number 10 has its 3 Raptor engines running a bit longer. And so you'll see the difference here shortly. But they all have 3 Raptor engines, and they're all going full force as they fly. So serial number 8 flew up to 12.5 kilometers. Serial numbers 9 and 10 flew to 10 kilometers. And as we get further down the path, it seems like serial number 10's flight went to the belly flop maneuver slightly earlier. Serial number 9's was a little bit later, and serial number 8's was the longest of all. So you'll see that here. So serial number 10 actually keeps its 3 Raptors running till about 2 minutes 15. The other 2 rockets are about 30 seconds away from shutting down one of their engines. So in the serial number 8 in the upper left, you can see the view under the skirt of the 3 rocket engines there.
Plus 90 seconds of the flight, everything continues to be nominal with Starship. Just passing through 3-kilometer altitude. Next major event.
So here you can see serial numbers 8 and serial number 9 shutting down 1 engine, so now they're on 2 engine power. Serial number 10 continues with 3 engine power for a bit longer. It will shut down one of its engines at about 2 minutes 15. So about 20 extra seconds under 3 engine power.
Getting ready to transition from 3 engines to 2 engines. Flight continuing on Starship. So reminder, this is a test flight to 10-kilometer altitude.
So pay attention to serial number 10 now. We're going to see 1 engine shut down right there. 1 engine shut down. There's a little bit of extra flame there. And now we're on 2 engine power on all 3 flights. So as they continue at about 3:10 or 3:15, we will go down to 1 engine. If you look at serial number 10 in the lower left, you can see a bright orange flame coming from the right engine, and the left engine seems to be a little more bluish. My theory is that that has to do with the throttling. So maybe one of those engines is throttling a little bit different than the other. That may be something that they're trying out. You can also see a little bit of condensation, still smoke coming off. That's just some cold cryogenic venting of excess fuel coming off the rocket. You can see that coming from all 3 of them actually. And here coming up soon, we're going to shut down 1 engine on all 3 rockets at about 3:15. So right there we're shutting down 1. And a little bit of extra flame there. Now we're on one engine power, 1 Raptor engine power. Eventually there will be 3 more Raptor engines under that skirt with larger bells. Those are vacuum optimized Raptors. Right now we just have what they call the sea level Raptors. And you can see the condensation picking up a little bit as we get to the apex of the flight. You can see as the condensation builds up, I think that is the spaceship changing to the header tanks and changing the fuel source from the main tanks to the header tanks. You'll see serial number 10 will be the first to transition to the belly flop. So it will angle its engine, create a little bit of rotation, and then it'll shut off the engine and it'll convert to the belly flop maneuver. Serial number 10 will be the first to do that. Then serial number 9, and then finally serial number 8. Now remember, serial number 8 flew to 12.5 kilometers, so slightly higher in altitude, but you can see a lot of condensation on serial number 10 because it's doing that header tank transition. There it's doing flipping to the belly flop, serial number 10. Serial number 9 is transitioning its header tanks, and it will transition to belly flop soon. And there it goes for the belly flop. Serial number 8 is still hovering at 12.5 kilometers, and it will be the last to transition. There we go, it's transitioning now to belly flop. You can see it stays aft first a little bit longer. The other two transition more authoritatively to the belly flop position, but you can see serial number 8 took quite a while and now finally gets into the true belly flop position. So that seems to be an improvement on serial numbers 9 and 10, that you have a more authoritative transition to the belly flop maneuver. So as we proceed downward, in about a minute we'll see them to attempt to relight their engines. Serial number 10 will relight 3 engines. Serial number 9 and 8 attempted to light 2 and failed, but serial number 10 did quite well, lit 3, and then we'll see it shut off all but 1 and have a relatively good landing. At about 6 minutes we'll see serial number 10 light its engines. So as it's falling, you can still see some venting of excess gas. You can see a frozen ring around the fuel tank there, around the methane fuel tank, and a little bit towards the nose of serial numbers 10 and 9. I don't know if serial number 8, you can see that. And a little bit of turbulent airflow just above the aft section. There's the lighting of serial number 10, so 3 engines light, and then they shut down 2 of those engines, and they're on 1 engine. And the computer is gimbaling those engines and changing the angle of those engines to balance the rocket. Comes down, relatively hard landing, but better than the other 2. And there you can see serial number 9 tried to light 2, but didn't, only lit 1 and crashed. Serial number 10, as the smoke clears, you'll see is standing, albeit at a slight angle. Serial number 8 there is trying to light them, does a pretty good flip maneuver, but then loses power, shuts down one of those motors, and loses power to the other one and starts consuming the engine and has quite a hard landing and explodes. Serial number 10 did land and was sitting there, had a little fire, but then about 8 minutes later, I think some of the leaking fuel lit up and it did explode. And so about 8 minutes later it did fail, but had a much better landing than the previous. So there's a pretty good summary.